Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? So in today's video we will be talking about the common rotations of every POI, every unnamed in the map. Now the point of this is so you guys, wherever you land on the map, so if you land Bony like I do, Believer, Coral, whatever, you can grasp the understanding of where nearby POIs rotate to and everything like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this type of video. We're going to start up here at Coral Castle, which is a gross place, and if you land there, then good luck. But Coral Castle usually does something where the shark usually follows them into Coral. Coral usually they hit the lost plane majority of the time, and then they either follow suit to Spire. They might push Believer, probably not. Most cases they go like this way. Stealthy, what does Stealthy do? Well, Stealthy in most cases follows behind Pleasant, or they go to Spire and then they go to Bridge, something like this. What does Pleasant do? Well, Pleasant usually drives straight down to Boney, tries to hit the Boney slurp truck. If not, they might go down here towards Blue Bridge. And oftentimes they don't go across the Risky, but they might, depending on where zone is. Fraggy usually only has one rotate out. They usually go straight down here, and they're either going to push Blue Bridge as well, or they are going to keep driving down to Triple. Now, what about this split up here where someone does radar station, gas station, and 3 houses? Well, usually they end up following right behind Orchard, or they try to make it to Spire. Let's go to Steamy. Steamy usually takes the, what are these called, silos, to Spire, and then they take the Spire into zone. Most often they land right around here. Orchard often either goes up towards Blue Bridge as well to loot. They push into Corny, or they drive by Corny and head towards Triple over here. Alrighty, let's do Corny. What does Corny normally do? Well, Corny can push into Orchard. That's a common push if they see it's unconned. Corny really has lots of options. They can go towards Risky. They can drive down the road here to this split over here, or even push into the Commie split. There really is a lot of common rotations for Corny because they are in the middle of the map and they have a lot of options. Now we have the Commie split. Usually they go up here and they try to get to Radar Station. If this is unconned, then they use Radar Station to fly wherever, or they can push into Corny. And that's really, or they can just dip to zone. Say fuck it, let's go to zone. Now we have Dirty. Most common path for Dirty is just going straight up here like this. They can, however, go up this hill and push into Lake House like that. Now we have the Lake House Spire split. They can take the Spire to Retail, they can take the Spire to Dirty, or they can take the Radar Station and push the split over here. Retail, most common retail push is into Lazy, but they can say fuck it and go Henchman House and then rotate in the zone, or they can push Caddy like this. Caddy. Well, Caddy's pretty common as well. Common one is they push into Lazy like this. Other option is they push into Retail, or they go down this bridge, which is pretty uncommon in my opinion. They usually go out. Weather Station. Well, they always push into Caddy almost all the time. Or they look for surge tags on Camp Cod, and if Camp Cod is in zone, they might push into Camp Cod. Camp Cod, most common and risky rotate is just going right up the middle. If they leave early, they can loop around the edges like this. And if they get the zip line, I think there's a zip line that goes across, so they might, work their way up the mountains on either side like this. Misty. Most common Misty path is to hit the Spire and then either go up towards Lazy, or they just go up this way. They can full send straight across into Lazy like that, and they also, depending on zone, they can also go left. Now we have the Flush Hydro gas station team. They might push into Slurpee, that's an option. They might push back into Radar Station, depending on where zone is. Most commonly, they probably are going to take this road up into Storm, or into zone. The Disco split over here usually end up rotating over here early and then following the path of the Hydro split and all that. Alrighty, we have Radar Station in the middle. The most common push for this is that they usually push into Weepin, or if their loot is absolutely scuffed, they take this down and they loot the center here. For the team in the middle here, usually they are a pretty heavy placement team, so they're probably going just somewhere in the middle of zone. Billboard is always a free option if Risky is unconned. Now, what will Risky do? Risky can push into a team in middle. They can push down into blue bridge. A common one is they go to triple and then they go to bridge. They can go backwards up the hill and fight the team over here. I know this is getting confusing, but just follow, along the best you can, and then stop it once I get to, your POI or whatever. Boney. Well, Boney wants the key. They can go up into Pleasant, or if they're feeling really brazy, they can go down into Believer. They can try to yoink the fast car over here and then rotate the zone. They can send Weepin. That's really it. Most cases they won't pull back here unless someone pulls here or there's a care package or exotic thing. But I haven't gone to Boney at all really in this side of the map. Weepin. Most commonly they end up going over here to basement and looting that. But they can push into Boney if they want to, and they have good loot to key. They can go up here into radar station, or they can send Slurpee. Ollie. Ollie usually goes back into Viking to loot that, because usually a team doesn't land there. Or they can send Believer, rotate through Boney, something like this. And I usually don't see them going down into Logjam, unless zone pulls like over here, so just a little small line. Logjam basement split, usually end up fighting Weepin somewhere along this area. Or they go backwards and loot Shantytown. Now if you're Shantytown radar split, they usually go up into Logjam, or they push Slurp, or they push Flush over here. Missing anything else? Over here, no one really lands John Wick or H House anymore, but they do land over here Castle and radar station. So really good loot. They can push into Believer. They can push up into Coral and get surge tags up here. Or they can run down the middle here and hit Viking. Or they can even just rotate the zone. I got all of the POIs and unnamed POIs. So of course this map looks fucking crazy, and it's going to be pretty complicated, but it's good to know this. Because if you're somebody, let's say, let's do a little test run here. Say zone pulls right here, and we're the Boney team. Now, depending on what placement and what part of a tournament we are in, let's say we need to key kids. We want to key kids on the edge. Well, first, what's hot side? What's dead side? Well, probably going to be split something like the I'll use yellow. Probably gonna be split something like this, where this is hot side and this is dead side. Now, if we need surge and we were unconned, we're going to want to base up somewhere where we'll find a lot of tags, free tags. So the radar station is a good option because it's still on the hot side, but it's in such a good position where we can easily fly into the dead side if we need to. Great for surge if we can get there quick enough. Just make this a little smaller and easier to see. We could base up basically anywhere along this mountain over here. Basically, we're trying to find a position in the hot side where a lot of teams will be rotating through. Because if we look at this, there's a lot of points on the map where a lot of the teams will intersect. Maybe the Pleasant, the Believer, all these teams. Oh, I forgot to do the Believer. I think I even forgot to do Believer. I'm trolling. Believer's most common path is just up through Boney like this. They usually go straight up into Boney, or they hit Spire and push Pleasant like this. Boney is a really common one because the road can get them there quick. So we have Pleasant, Boney, Holly, 3 teams converging here. We have Craggy, Risky, and Orchard. So another 3 over here. We have Corny here. We have Dirty and Radar here. Over here we have Weepin, maybe even Slurp. I didn't miss Slurpee too, so it's a 2. And Slurpee sometimes pushes into Weepin, sometimes go backwards and push the team behind them, or they go up towards Logjam like this, depending on their loot. So we want to base up somewhere where these teams are going to be kind of all meeting up together. So if we're based up on radar station, everyone's going to try to go around us like this, and then we create this funnel and forces people on the outside, forces them to fight, ends up going really well in our favor. But even way, if this is zone, we can just talk about what information do we have. Well, we know hot side and dead side, and we know that, look at all these teams. Good chances. A lot of the teams are in lazy. good chances, you know, this whole side of the map is probably like pretty bare. No one's really in this side of the map. So if we can get down here and then rotate in the zone, let's say this is first zone and we're the boating team and we get the fast car here and we just, you know, dip out because all of this rotation should be over by now. And we go all the way back here and this team should already be over here somewhere because we know the timings of all the teams of the map. We're able to get somewhere along these mountains. Then if the next zone pulls like here, the rotate's pretty free because everyone should already be in. So if that's the next zone, we're going to be definitely want to be on this mountain somewhere. And going across the water is risky. And we definitely want to avoid lazy probably at all costs. So we're probably going to want to go back the way we came and enter like this. The shambles zone. Or we can say fuck it and go up the middle and see what happens. But hopefully this helps you guys understand why knowing this map is important and how you can use it to your advantage, especially where you land. Because it's good to know, you know, because once you start scrimming and you start going up against people that land at all these POIs, you can start learning like where everyone rotates to and then use that to your advantage whether you want to push or not. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these videos and cheers.